About a quarter of all road accidents occur on rural highways, but the consequences of such accidents are much more severe. Injuries and deaths happen 3 times more often than on city streets. The most dangerous incidents happen on high-speed federal highways. 1 in every 2 deaths in a car accident occurs outside the city. This is often caused by traffic violations, speeding, drunk driving, and so on. But there is also a less obvious cause of such accidents. This phenomenon is called by different names: highway hypnosis, road hypnosis, freeway hypnosis, or driving in an inattentive state. This is an altered state of consciousness, in short, a trance, in which a driver can operate a vehicle for a long time and react adequately to external events, but afterwards cannot remember what they did in that state. Their brain is able to unconsciously process a large amount of information related to the road situation and vehicle control, while the driver is essentially on autopilot. In some cases, the trance state can be so deep that the driver experiences auditory and visual hallucinations. This explains many mystical stories told by truck drivers. One of the most striking examples is also on my channel. Link in the description. As early as 1929, an article called "Sleep with Open Eyes" was published, suggesting that some drivers can fall asleep at the wheel without closing their eyes. In the 1950s, a hypothesis emerged that some strange road accidents could be explained by the phenomenon of road hypnosis in the driver. Experimental research into this phenomenon began in the early 1980s. What causes such a state? The main factors that induce road hypnosis are monotony of the landscape, the flickering of road markings in front of the driver's eyes, the shimmering of light reflections, the monotonous noise of the engine, and the rocking of the car. All this causes what is called sensory hunger, that is, a lack of visual stimuli that puts the driver into a hypnotic state. Also important factors are driver fatigue, having to drive alone or with sleeping passengers, a relaxed state of the driver, or, on the contrary, severe stress, as well as problems that occupy all of the driver's attention. It is believed that road hypnosis most often occurs in experienced drivers, as well as on familiar road sections or high-speed highways without traffic lights, because this allows driving on autopilot. Experimental studies have shown that the emergence of road hypnosis is facilitated not so much by the monotony of the landscape and the uniformity of the road situation, but rather by the predictability of that situation for the driver. For example, if a driver has to drive in fog, even though the landscape outside the window is extremely monotonous and nothing distracts the driver, they do not enter a state of road hypnosis. The state of freeway hypnosis is a serious risk factor in road accidents. Although a driver in road hypnosis can still drive, they cannot quickly and adequately react to unexpected situations on the road. Psychological speed inertia may also occur, where the driver unconsciously drives faster and faster. In addition, road hypnosis is a sign of severe driver fatigue. This state can be the first stage of falling asleep at the wheel, where the driver is unaware of their fatigue or that they are falling asleep. Thanks to experimental studies of the phenomenon of road hypnosis, external signs of a driver entering a trance state have been identified. The driver stares fixedly at the road, and their head is tilted forward. The driver suddenly makes a sharp head movement. The driver rolls their eyes back. Their eyes are half closed or squinted. The driver makes driving mistakes. The emergence of road hypnosis is often a precursor to falling asleep at the wheel. An uncontrolled car, even a passenger car moving at 50 to 60 kilometers per hour, can cause a lot of trouble. But imagine a truck driver in a heavy rig driving at 100 kilometers per hour who falls asleep for just 3 seconds. The unguided truck will travel more than 80 meters. In such a situation, a driver who falls asleep at the wheel may never wake up again, and the danger is unlikely to bypass other road users. The German scientist and doctor Hans, or Chance, interface Likely a name reference, but I'll keep as Dr. Hans, on the topic of sleep and road safety, recommends realistically assessing your own abilities. First of all, he advises avoiding driving at night, since in the dark the human body is especially predisposed to sleep. Also at risk are drivers suffering from sleep disorders and respiratory diseases. They tire quickly and may unexpectedly doze off on the road. Based on his experiments, Dr. Hans found that even professional drivers often overestimate their physical capabilities, fail to notice approaching fatigue, miss the moment when their brain switches off, and eventually fall asleep. It is not easy to determine that you are about to fall asleep. One of the signals? If your vehicle keeps drifting out of its lane, or your eyelids suddenly become heavy, you start yawning frequently, nodding off, fail to notice road signs, or cannot concentrate, the expert lists. In such cases, you must definitely stop, rest, and sleep for 20 to 30 minutes. Short sleep is incredibly invigorating. Moreover, this effect can be enhanced by drinking a little coffee before sleeping. The point is that coffee does not work immediately, but after about half an hour. As a result, you will wake up with double the energy. If there is no opportunity to sleep, a short, brisk walk or some gymnastic exercises will help. This activates the circulatory system. Cold water also helps relieve fatigue, so you should wash your face during stops. Excellent ways to fight drowsiness are cheerful music, lively conversation with a passenger, and a light meal including vegetables, fruits, and seeds. Modern automotive industry produces technical devices that can monitor driver behavior, determine the level of fatigue, and sound an alarm or direct a stream of cold air to the driver's face if they start falling asleep. Dr. Hans is skeptical about such automated systems. He claims that so far they are not particularly reliable and cannot be fully relied upon. A talkative passenger is a much better alternative to such technology. Moreover, the passenger can also signal the driver if they start nodding off, as long as endless conversations do not distract from the road. On the other hand, technical progress does not stand still, and such devices can still help drivers, especially since passengers are not always available. But even more important is simply getting enough sleep before a trip. According to statistics, a sleepy driver is even more dangerous than a drunk one. The number of fatal accidents caused by falling asleep at the wheel is twice the number of victims of accidents caused by intoxicated drivers. Judge for yourself. A person who has not slept for 17 hours has the same reaction speed as a person with 0.4 parts per mil of alcohol in their blood. And staying awake for 22 hours corresponds to 1 part per mil of alcohol. Therefore, we must not forget that when we get behind the wheel, we are responsible not only for our own lives, but also for the lives of those around us. Take care of yourself, and remember that you are awaited at home.